589-8840. Just want to mention to all of you in 3 areas of the country. We have just changed for our Woodlands, what was going to be Woodlands, Texas town hall meeting. We have changed that to the full format, a 4-hour seminar, Stewardship 101, Investing Strategies 101, whatever. It's going to be a great time. You've got to register. It's on the website if you live anywhere near the Woodlands. Also, the end of this month, on the 29th and the 31st, on the 29th, we're going to be in Rogers, Arkansas for that 4-hour seminar, Financial Stewardship Investing 101. It's a 4-hour seminar. And then on the 31st, Thursday, we're going to be in Plano, Texas doing it. Now, listen, here's the deal. Registration starts at 8:30. So you get there at 8:30. We're going to have coffee and Danish or whatever. So get there at 8:30, register, get settled in. We're going to start promptly at 9 o'clock. We're going to get out of there by 1. We're going to have a break somewhere in the middle of that. But you're going to get a book of all of what we're presenting. Plus, in there will not just be a slide for you to take notes on, but it's going to be what I'm going to be talking about, to a certain extent in text format. So you'll be able to review that regularly. So you're going to get that when you show up. And to be able to take some notes, it's probably going to be about 100 pages. I'm going to have a little planning guide in the back of that as well to help you kind of sort and organize, get your fiscal house in order, so to speak. So that's going to be in that book as well. You'll have opportunity to purchase. If you are there, you'll have an opportunity to purchase the full DVD. We are going to record this 4-hour conference. You have an opportunity to purchase that so you can review it and share it. So, but you've got to register. So go to afr.net, click on the Faith Family Finance button there, and you'll be able to register. You have to register. We need you to register for this. So we've got a lot of information that we're going to be giving you, handout, books, these kinds of things. And we've got to be prepared. We've got to know how many people are coming. So please register. Make sure you do that. You can also register at financialissues.org, which will take you to the same link and allow you to register. So make sure you do that, register, and do that today. I don't know what our seating capacity is. I do know that our desire was to, keep it at a smaller crowd so we have a little bit more interaction, be able to ask questions throughout the time, the 4-hour time as we go through and explain some things. I am going to explain this in a way. You're going to have a better understanding of the markets, a better understanding of stocks, bonds, strategies, but more importantly, you're going to learn how to implement all that and to follow it, to manage it, to work with it. You're going to understand, you're going to have a great understanding of that. It's going to help you be a great steward of what God has blessed you with. So if you've got a 401k, an IRA, you're starting in investing, you're just starting to get into it, you want to get into it, you want to learn more about it, you've got to come to the town hall meeting or the seminar, the Faith, Family, and Finance seminar, and make sure you register. Let me go to the phones, 888-589-8840. Let me go to Paige. Paige calling us from Louisiana. Hey, Paige.
Hey, how are y'all?
Good.
Hey, yes, my question is about kind of with Obamacare.
Mm-hmm.
Me and my husband, neither one have health insurance, and we've always been fine with that because we don't get sick that often. And I know, I guess my question is, are we going to be forced to get health insurance? And if we don't, what could happen? We have 4 kids. They have the Medicaid insurance.
Right.
And I had heard if we didn't get it, we could, like when we have our tax refunds, he could penalize you on your tax refunds or something. I'm just not sure. Could you explain to me
Sure.
if we're going to have it, or if you don't, what could happen?
Yeah.
'Cause we just really couldn't afford to get an extra bill,
Right. Yeah, the way it's set up right now, Paige, is that, I don't know if you remember when they first talked about this, they talked about, insuring this, 43 million more people that didn't have insurance. Now, they didn't question whether those people wanted insurance or not. That didn't much matter. But they are going. One of the ways that the president sold this to insurance companies was, look, you're going to actually get more people on your rolls. You're going to get, yes, you'll have to cover pre-existing conditions, but it won't matter because there's a thing in the insurance business, in the actuarial part of it, that's called the law of large numbers. And, obviously, things get reduced as more numbers come into these companies. So the idea being is that we're going to make everybody get insurance. If they don't get insurance, we're going to fine them, and hopefully, in some way, shape, or form, hopefully that will encourage them to get insurance. So now, so there's a couple things that you can do, that you and your husband can do. You can look into one of the Samaritan's Ministries or MediShare, one of the Christian-based medical sharing plans that are exempt. In other words, they're going to take those, they're going to consider that except for the state of Kentucky, which has ruled against those. But as far as I know, every other state is okay with it, and they're going to accept that. That would probably be your least expensive alternative. But right now, you're the way it's set up, you're going to be forced to do it. Now, having said that, I don't know that I would rush out now. I wouldn't suggest that you rush out now and do something about it, even though I do believe that we all should have health insurance because it's a risk. It's a financial risk. But nevertheless, if it's not something you can do right now or not something you want to do right now, then I would wait it out a little bit longer and see how things shake out. But as the plan stands, as far as I know, they are not pieces of the legislation that have been, overridden or reconsidered or taken out or amended. So that's the way it stands right now. So in the middle of next year, when you do your taxes for this year, 2013, I'm assuming that there has got to be some sort of reporting mechanism because the president has made the IRS in charge of policing this. And the IRS has hired a number of agents in order to be able to do that. So it's the only way they're going to be able to police it is have some sort of reporting mechanism on your taxes. So you file your taxes. One of the questions is going to be, how much have you paid in health insurance? Do you have health insurance? So on and so forth. And, that's how they're going to kind of find that out. So that's the scoop on it, Paige. Hopefully that helps you. It is very unfortunate for families like you that, and frankly, a lot of young people, college, or not college students, but those young people that have just graduated college, they're out on their own, they're, living out on their own, they've just got a job or a startup business, and maybe they don't have an opportunity to have health insurance and they're in great health, they're going to have to get it. Thanks, Paige. I appreciate it. Let me go to Cliff. Cliff calling us from North Carolina. 888-589-8840. Hey, Cliff.
Hey, Dan. I appreciate you taking my call this morning.
Sure.
I'm encouraging others to listen to you because I'm just kind of a newcomer to investing in all those things that you've been talking about. And I do have a great concern with this. Looking at 2% for the GDP is something that we should be happy about. I think that our government has swallowed up our country and it's being able to afford everybody to have all these luxuries, and it's caused our country and our people to be a mindset of entitlement. And I've got a big problem with that because nobody wants to work anymore.
Yeah.
And so when you see everybody sucking up all these things, I'm sorry about that, but that's just how I feel. So my worry is, as a productive American, one who lives, I think, about a majority of Americans paycheck by paycheck, when you're looking at renting versus owning, we're currently a homeowner, but listening to this, and my feeling is that it's not going to get much better. It's going to slowly decline financially.
Yes.
So my concern as a homeowner, you've always heard that it's better to own a home than rent. But if you can reduce your monies that are going out and be able to save money coming in and be able to invest that? Would it be better to sell your home and rent, reduce again? It may not be what we're used to living, but reduce it, pay off your debt, and save money. Is that a practical, wise avenue for us as a family?
Yeah, great question, Cliff. Here's what I would say. First of all, I agree with 100% with your premise of the slow, the deterioration of our economy continuing. I agree with that 100% because it has to. The math all points in that direction. So I agree with that. Here's the one thing, though, I'm big on. I believe that we, and I'm speaking as in your shoes as a family, a relatively young guy that's got a family that owns a home, and speaking in those terms. I think that one of the things that you also have to consider is you've got to consider hedging against the fact, although it seems like it's not going to go in this direction, but there is the possibility that though the economy may continue to limp along, that I'll give you an example. We could turn into, I think we've already done this, but we could turn into a Japanese type economy where for 14 years, Japan has done nothing. They have had little inflation. That's the only thing that has saved them. They've got debt that's 200% of their GDP because they're masters at printing money. And they've managed to keep that wolf away from the door of inflation and do all this. And they've had a stagnant economy like we have, basically zero growth as far as I'm concerned. So, and they've plugged along. I think that is a possibility that we could, though we may dip and have a 2-year little bit of a dramatic downturn, we could then return to this stagnation, the stagnant economy. So here's what my thing would be, because I think that the time you're paying mortgage payments during this time, you are getting every month that you get closer. And I know this seems insurmountable if you got 20 years left to pay on your mortgage. Every month you get closer to getting your mortgage paid off, I think is a good thing. What I wouldn't want to happen, here's what I wouldn't want to happen. I wouldn't want to happen someone to rent for 5-6 years, get to the point where, okay, now it's time to buy, and they buy because they've lost this 5 years of paying on this mortgage. And I say that because I want everybody to think about working to the place where you're never going to have a mortgage payment, because now you're really going to be able to save, because yes, you got to set aside money for your taxes, and yes, you got to set aside money for your insurance, but you're not going to be paying this mortgage payment, and it's going to free up an enormous amount of cash flow. But more importantly, it's going to give you protection when someday your earnings capacity diminishes or goes away altogether because of either an illness or you've retired or the economy turns bad and you're not working. So I really would rather see you struggling along now, continuing paying the mortgage, not renting. There is value. Look, forget about your house as an investment. Think about your house as a home that you're going to live in the rest of your life. There is real value in continuing to plug along and pay that. If the worst case scenario would be you start renting, you rent for 10 years. Now you've rented so long that it's getting very difficult to buy a home, or you buy a home and now your 30-year mortgage is taking you to 75 years old, and your income may stop at 69. It just puts you in a difficult situation in many years from now. So I think let's pray the Lord will come back tonight and so we don't have to deal with any of this. But let's, we don't know that. Since we don't know that, we've got to continue to prepare for the future. So that's kind of my take on it, Cliff. I get where you're coming from. There's some merit to what you said, no doubt about it. But I want us to think a little bit more long term. Thanks, Cliff. I appreciate you, brother. Let's go to break. We've got who's on deck here? Fred's on deck, then John, then Roy.